is compulsory, or should we write it, or will it automatically generate, Amitabh? Because if we don't write at the rate override, it will create an hallucination that it is getting overrided, but it is not. So I'm not getting the auto generated annotation. So how is it? How does that work?
So auto-generated annotations, if are not coming, that means that methods are not like compulsory getting overwritten from the parent.
Oh,
It might be that you are giving the method yourself to the child. That's why it's getting a match with the parent. That is also possible, but that's why static method overriding is not possible, right? Static method
okay.
overriding,
But
as
when
I
I
said,
go and yeah, when I go and type it manually, then it starts saying static method can't be overridden. So
overridden. Yes, I get it.
yeah, okay, okay, Amitabh, thank
Yeah, static methods cannot be overwritten because of this memory allocation. Because whenever you are writing in a static method, it goes at the first and gets the class data loads it at the first, right?
you. Yeah,
So when it gets loads first, then overwriting means you are overwriting basically, right? So then whatever it's already has been loaded, there is no meaning for that. Again, it's getting changed. So that's why the basic simple thumb rule is static methods cannot be overridden.
yeah, and
And
also is
yeah,
sorry, Amitabh, sorry, please
go
go
ahead.
on.
No, no, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, what I understood is when we say static, that is at the class level, but not at the instance level, like object level. So when it is a common place that is accessed by different objects or methods. Uh,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
because
and
it's
so
the
we
class
can't
level.
modify a common place. So that
Uh,
will affect all other objects. Is the explanation correct, Amita?
yeah, you can say that too. Yes, because static always belongs to the class level, right? So
Yeah.
static goes on
And
the class level
changing
because any
static would
particular.
affect many things, isn't it?
Yes, because anything which is in global can be used anywhere in the class, right? Even
Yeah,
in different classes with the help of class name dot.
yeah,
So it's not really, as you said, like it's not really belong to the instance level where you can just call upon and work on it.
right.
So static things which belongs to the class level is like cannot be overridden, because if you override it, then its property might change, right? You may not keep the super even. So
Right.
that will affect all the places where you have getting changed, and even the class loader will not be unable, like will not be able to load it every time from everywhere wherever it got the changes.
Yeah. Yes, Amitabh, it's clear. Thanks, Amitabh.
Okay, okay, cool. Anything else, guys? Cool. So we'll start with another topic. So till now we have done two pillars of the OOPS, that is inheritance and polymorphism, and we have another pillar which is very important, which is abstraction. So can anyone tell me what is an abstraction?
Hiding the
Hiding
implementation.
the
Reading the implementations.
and shows only
The
functionality.
backend said
Abstraction means hiding the implementation and providing the functionalities.
Functionality to the user.
Okay, so when you are trying to hiding the implementation and only providing to the user boss,
like a ATM machine.
like an ATM
The
machine. Okay,
correct.
you are giving back my example to me, huh? Okay. So till now we have done anywhere like this, that
Yes.
we are not showing any implementation, but only the functionality we are saying to the user that boss you can do this much.
The system.out.println would actually print the output, but we don't know how it is printing it, isn't it?
System dot out
Even
dot
constructor also we can consider, Amitabh.
constructor. Not really. Constructor even you can implement, right? Even constructor can be
In
overload.
interfaces we did, Amitabh.
Like implicitly, sometimes it will
Yeah,
call, right?
implicitly,
So we
yes.
don't know what is happening.
Implicitly, every class would have the constructor, and even like it's a basic thumb rule is because every class implicitly have a constructor. That means we know it's a default constructor without any parameter to it, right? It's a simple constructor, like with the class name and the braces. So I would not
The
say
scanner class. Scanner class.
scanner class. Scanner class is the one you were thinking where you have done the abstraction. No.
In interfaces also.
Yes. So the answer is interface. So now I'll tell me how interfaces are helping. Yeah, Kavita, I heard you. You say 3 times. I know. 2 times on voice, 1 time in chat. I have heard every time because I did not
No,
approve
no.
of you
I was
because
confused if I was audible or no. So
no, I did not approve of you because others were also trying.
yeah, okay, no problem.
The answer would be interface. Why interface? Because interface, whenever we are declaring an interface or creating an interface, we are having methods initialization, right? We are saying boss, there is a sum, there is a sub, there is a multiplication, there is a division. That's it. If user comes to that interface and try to interact with it, user will only see, boss, there are 4 functionalities I can do: sum, sub, multiplication, and division. Somewhere in between, behind the user screen, this that interface is getting implemented by a class, and class is doing all the functionality, but user is not able to, like, I have put the interface in front of the user and the class is behind the screen, which is actually implementing all the methods, how the sum would be happening, how it would be giving the output, how the subtraction would be giving output. You guys are getting me? One second, I'll share my
Yes,
screen.
Amitabh. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So what I'm trying to say, till now, abstraction, what we have learned, abstraction is something a way. Abstraction, actually the main word is abstract here. Okay, this is very important keyword. This is also a keyword of Java, abstract. So in the abstraction, what's the point is that whatever user would be seeing, that would be like kind of not implemented things, and the implementation will have in the background. The backend will have the implementation, and user will not be able to see how the things are happening in the backend. So that's what I'm saying, that I have an interface of I1, which has a sum method, which has a sub method. Now these methods are not implemented in the interface, right? So if I show any user this interface, was this is your UI, with this particularly you can do a sum and subtraction. Will it be possible to say for the user that what is happening behind? No, right? He can only say 2 functionalities are there, but behind the back there is a class 1 which is implementing the I1, and I have decoded these methods that sum will do the parameter a plus b and also have a CISO. Same goes for the sub, that a minus b and also have a CISO, or maybe for 3 digits there is a different case. So I have implemented something, but this C1 is not in front of the user. The interface is in front of the user, and by reading the interface itself, one user or anyone can just say there are 2 functionalities, sum and sub. That's it. How it's happening, how it's working, nothing. Even it can say its return type, right? I can say like that, boss, if I use public void sum, so user can say that if I use the sum method, I will not get anything in return. If I use the public int sub, then user will say if I use the sub method, I will get something integer in return. So I can see what I'll get, I can see what will be the functionality, but I don't know in the backend how they're implemented. Just like an ATM machine, like I can go to the ATM machine, I can choose that I have to take the money from the savings account or current account. I can choose how much money I need. I can choose, this is my, like I can provide with my PIN. I can choose my language as English, but it's not possible as a user for me to go behind the back and see, okay, English I have put, that's the data is going there, and that's how they are connecting with my bank account, and that's how this PIN is getting verified, and that's how there is the money stacked up and I'm getting the money. Okay, so that's how it's happening. So this process of hiding the implementation and showing the user only with the functionalities is called abstraction. So we have achieved abstraction already in the interfaces, right? As I said, Like any interface will have only the functionalities in front, and everything would be like whatever is getting implemented and all would be inside a class which might be like not like which is not shown to the user. That's the point. So here, so what was our motto? Always remember, abstraction motto was show the functionalities, let the user know what are the functionalities you can provide, but how you are doing it, the implementation, this one is hidden. So we got interface at first. That was interface can do it for me. Any interface I take, I can do this much. That was I have few functionalities which are just functionalities you can see from here. I can implement behind your back and you will not know what is happening or how it is happening. So, and how they are achieving, like what is the level of interface to achieve abstraction? 100%. Why I'm saying this 100% is important? Because all the methods are like this only, right? In an interface, all the methods are unimplemented and implementation comes in the behind. Leave the default, okay? Leave the default one because that's not a general interface, correct? So when we read about the interface, I think rarely anywhere you have seen that they have used the default until unless you have searched like default method in interface. So interface doesn't come by default with any type of methods which has a default uh, keyword. So interface always is a basic concept is interfaces, all the methods would be unimplemented. So if all the methods are unimplemented, that means everything I'm getting as a functionality, nothing is implemented. So interface can achieve abstraction with 100% success rate. Is this line clear for you guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
Samita.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you have doubts, tell me. Like I'm giving a pause here. Any doubts regarding this? Interfaces are achieving 100% abstraction. Doubts? No doubts. Cool.
No, sir.
Now, what is the disadvantage of this? There is always a need, right? People, nothing can be perfect in this world. So if interface was achieving 100% of abstraction, people said, boss, I don't need 100% of abstraction. I need at some places where the abstraction will be 5%. I need some places where the abstraction will be 50%. And if I want to achieve 50% of abstraction, what does that mean? We have to understand that if I have 10 methods, among them 5 needs to be like this, which are unimplemented, correct?
5 needs to be implemented.
And 5 needs to be implemented. Then I can say, boss, this particular entity, it might be a class, it might be an interface or whatever, it has achieved the 50% of abstraction, correct?
Yes, Samita.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We are going little bit deep, so be with me. If you are not understanding, ask me again. I'm saying when interface was giving 100% of abstraction, people said or people needed a place where the 100% abstraction is not needed. People said, boss, I will give something which are implemented so that people can use it for later purpose. And I'll give few things which are unimplemented so that people can make of their own rule. Like think of a TRI. Okay, TRI organization, Telecom Regulation Authority of India. TRI. So try bound few things for all the operators. That was you have to give a policy of call, you have to give a policy of SMS, you have to give a policy of internet. Correct? It was bound. Now try didn't give, like these are already defined by try that you have to give the call, you have to give the SMS, you have to go give the internet. Some things, some functionalities he left on the providers. Like if you want internet, what type of internet it might be? Some operators were still working, like BSNL is still in 4G. Where Airtel and Jio, these guys are working on 5G plus. So there are always a way that everything you can't control. So that's why abstraction also was something like that. That was if abstraction I want, interface was having the 100% success rate. But we needed something which can control from 0% to 99%, where some methods would be implemented, some methods would be unimplemented. And that's where the entity came, and the keyword also matched with it together. That is abstract
Class.
class. Abstract class. This is a type of class, as you can suggest, like this is a class. Okay, this is a class entity totally, but it's have a special keyword with it, which is abstract class. What's the advantage of abstract class? Abstract class says that boss, you can write regular methods inside me. Regular methods. Regular methods means public static void,
Public not acquired.
public void sum, public void sub, like normal methods which are implemented, which has a implementation inside it. And you can write another thing, that is abstract methods. Abstract methods. Abstract methods are those methods which doesn't have implementation and it goes same as interface. Okay, just a second, guys. Yeah, so here the abstract keyword came. Okay, so abstract keyword is having that property of abstraction. That's the basic rule, that anything we add abstract keyword with any entity will get the property of abstraction. So if abstract class, so abstract class means it has a property to achieve 0 to 99% of abstraction, where there would be regular methods as you need. There might be abstract methods, those methods which are same as like interface, like you just don't have to give any implementation, you can just declare it. That's enough. Clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Samta.
Yes, Samta.
So there are few things to consider here. Okay, first thing is abstract class must always should have at least one of abstract method. Okay, abstract class must should have one abstract method. You can't have abstract class where it is all regular methods, then that is basically a class, right? There is no difference then. Getting my point? So
Yeah.
Samta. Yes, Samta.
let's go to
Yes, sir.
Eclipse. One second.
Yes.
Let me open Eclipse also. I'll try to do one. Cool. You they used to give, right? Previously, I don't know. Let's create a class. So let's give the class name practice. So I have created a class. I'll just add one keyword, which is as I called abstract. Once I create the abstract practice, now I can start giving the abstract methods here. So public, like let's have regular methods. Public void sum. This is a regular method. See, so this is a sum method inside the abstract class. Now we can have abstract method also, like public void, one second, abstract void sub. See, a class entity which can have both type of methods. One is implemented, one is unimplemented. And now this abstract class, what do you think? when I want to inherit this class to a child, what would be my keyword? Implements or extends?
Extends.
Extends. Extends.
Extends. Extends.
Correct. It would be extends because it's a
Extends.
class only, right? So
Yes.
from one class to another class, it will extend. And while you are extending, these methods are also would be available to you. It's not like key implemented methods are not coming. These methods are also available, would be available to you, but you must have to implement these methods then. That's the point. You must have to implement these methods. And that's how people try to achieve abstraction. Now interviewer will ask you, like they will not disturb you much. There are few questions from abstraction which are bound to happen. Okay. Like in my experience till now, what I have faced, there is like, what is abstraction? So abstraction is something where we are showing out the functionality to the user, but we are not like we are hiding the implementation of those functionalities. Correct. Now second question is how we can achieve abstraction. What would be your answer?
Interface.
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 Through abstract
Interface.
class
Implement.
or interfaces.
Yes. So the answer would be that to achieve abstraction in Java,
Abstraction we can implement.
we can either have interface or abstract class. These are two ways to achieve
Abstraction.
abstraction in Java. Now, how interface helps with abstraction? So you can say that interface has all the methods which are unimplemented, and a class has to implement them. So for an user, it's from the point like if we show up the interface, that's only the functionalities we can show, and that's a 100% achieve abstraction. Then why we needed abstract class? The same way we need an abstract class because there is a chance that we might need some methods which are abstract, which has the abstract property, and some methods which are normal implemented methods. That's why abstract class was there. Okay. So abstract class has the abstract keyword which holds regular methods and abstract methods also. Okay. And abstract methods are those methods which doesn't have any implementation. Now one more question comes here. Can we create an object of abstract class?
No.
No.
No. Sir. No. Sir. We
No.
create a child, inherit the child class abstract. Yes. No.
So
Sir.
why we cannot create object of abstract class? Why?
It's like it like interfaces like behave
To achieve abstraction.
to
To achieve abstraction, huh? The like it was the
it's like
first.
unimplemented method is there. It's like unimplemented method.
We don't create constructor, object and constructor.
Actually, creating object for an abstract class.
They don't have
doesn't
any
make sense, because
implementation.
we can't. Yeah, we can't implement it there.
Implementation
Implementation.
methods.
Holds the implementation of the abstract classes. Creating an
So
object for that class makes sense.
Okay.
actually, abstracts that don't have any implementation.
Implementation.
But
That's
abstract
why
class
the-
also has those methods where
Yes.
those are implemented, right? Okay. So again, the question comes that interface we can't create an object because interface doesn't have a constructor. Correct? Is
Yes,
the
sir.
problem set with a same with an abstract class?
Yes.
No, Amitabh.
Yes.
Actually,
Who are saying abstract class doesn't have a constructor?
They have
It's
constructor methods.
serious.
The
So
representation.
abstract class doesn't have constructors. We cannot create an objects.
Yes, the answer is correct that we cannot create object, but abstract class actually have constructors. Okay,
Constructors.
don't confuse it up. And this is one of the questions which people get confused. Even I was confused at first few days, I remember. So I thought because interface doesn't have a constructor, and that's why abstract class may not have a constructor. So that's why it's not getting the object done, but abstract class actually have a constructor. Okay, abstract class has a constructor, but still it cannot create object. The reason is it has unimplemented methods. It's a one-liner answer. it because it has unimplemented methods, it's not possible for it to create object. But if we dive deep, that what is the problem of having an unimplemented methods? What would be your answer?
Oh, what's the question, Amita? It's not clear.
I mean,
You know
he's
what is
asking
what is the implementation happen in abstract class? Maybe.
It's a
Hello.
Maybe override.
Can you
Hello.
repeat the question once again, Amita?
Can you
Yeah,
repeat
yeah.
the question, sir? Like,
Sorry. I was went on mute. So I was trying to say that like abstract class has a constructor. Okay. Now if
yes,
someone asks you why we can't create object, because abstract class has unimplemented methods. One liner answer.
yes, yes.
But what is the problem of creating an object having unimplemented methods? What would have happened if I have unimplemented methods, still I try to create an object? What would be the issue?
There is no implementation.
Right? Unimplemented means there is no implementation.
Mm,
Actually, Amitabh, I mean, without implementation, what is the use of, getting that one, creating an object, Amitabh? It is not
Still,
required, no,
Ambiguity
still,
necessary.
issue.
still you
Maybe
have,
can't insert.
still you have
Maybe the
some methods which are
ambiguity issue,
implemented.
Amita.
Amitabh,
Ambiguity.
Ambiguity
I
issue.
didn't get it, Amitabh. If there is no implementation, there is no use of creating an object, no, Amitabh. Uh,
I get your point. There is no
Because
use of
it's
creating an object is a
instances.
there is no use of creating an object is a different thing, and it cannot create object, there is a different thing. It cannot create object because very simple thing was, if you are not getting, see, if anyone asks you in anywhere in Java that why you cannot create object for this entity, okay, let it be interface,
hmm,
let it be abstract class, let it be any other thing, I don't know, just I'm saying,
hmm,
first you
hmm,
have to look at the 4 elements. The 4 elements are class name, instance variable, equals to new, and constructor. These 4 are the parents of creating an object. Okay,
hmm.
fundamentals. And always look at the constructor first. Okay, for interface the constructor is absent itself, so not possible, gone. Second thing comes into the picture, which is that I'm still not getting, I have a constructor for abstract class, but still I'm not getting the object. Then what will be the problem? Let's look into the constructor functionality. Constructor functionality was that it will carry the properties of the class and convey the same to the equals to new to have the correct data, correct amount of space. Okay. So if you have
It will
unimplemented
not have
methods,
the idea how much space to be allocated because the
correct,
method is not yet implemented.
implemented,
Yeah.
the constructor doesn't even have the idea that what those methods may hold or may not hold. The correct space itself is not defined for the constructor to create an object. So see, that's what I'm saying. If anyone ever asks you why you cannot create object for this, first look at 4 entities. Among those 4 pillars, the first thing is constructor, would be the most culprit one. Okay, either he is not present or he doesn't have information. Okay, so here also the abstract class is not getting fully implemented. If it is not fully implemented, the constructor doesn't even have a knowledge what might be inside those methods or what may happen inside those methods. It can't go to the equals to new and say, boss, I need this much space. Without an idea, no one can give you space. You can't buy a house. So object creation closed. Even with having a constructor, even though you have a constructor, you can't do it. Okay,
Yep.
clear?
Amitabh. Yeah, Amitabh, clear.
We can't
So
Yes, Amita.
instantiate it directly.
yes, so what you have to do, you have to extend the abstract class in another child class, get the unimplemented things implemented in that child class, then you create an object. You can use all the methods there, right? By that object. So no issues. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Amita.
Yes, Amita. Understood.
Because we are talking about object creation and all. Okay, so my another question is, if someone like you have a class, okay, just think you all individually you have your own class. So Vdesh has a class now, which is called as Vdesh, and maybe Deepika wants to like create an object of Vdesh class, okay, but Vdesh doesn't want that. Okay, Vdesh is saying that I'll not give my permission to anyone to create object for my class. No one can use my methods. It's all mine. So how it would be possible for anyone to stop creating object for my own
By
class?
defining it as abstract class.
No, then you
Yes,
have
sir.
to have abstract method.
Okay.
I see. I'm saying it's just a class. Videsh has a class. You all have a class. You don't want other person to create object for your class.
Static.
Private.
We have to use a private access modifier,
Private
Amita.
methods. Private.
Private method for whom?
A private access modifiers to the variables and the methods, Amita.
Private if you do for
Defining the
very,
method as static.
see,
It's
private you
like
do for,
static.
okay, let's go with one by one. So whoever is saying for the private, for the methods or variables, the thing is still I can create object for you. Okay, for the methods and variables you can make it private, no issues. I can create object. How much I can access, that's a different thing. Okay, but creation of object I want to stop. That line when I write
Creation of
that,
object depends on the constructor, Amitabh. So we must restrict constructor, but how we restrict constructor, I have no idea.
that was the like
Interface is the option.
most important line you have said. Like till in the whole session, this was the most important line, that creation of object depends on the constructor. So
Yes,
now you guys got a hint that constructor needs to be done
maybe we
something.
can put it, we can make constructor as abstract.
Constructor cannot be abstract. Never
Then
possible.
we can make it private.
We can make it as a
We can
private
make
as a
a
Correct.
constructor,
class
Amita.
Without
of
making the variables and methods private, make the constructor private. If constructor is not available to other classes, how can they create object for you?
Okay, okay, got it, Amita.
Got the point, right?
Yeah, got it.
And we will do that actually in real life when you will be working with UI and all, and you will be creating maybe frameworks and all. You will see that you have to yourself create your constructors private so that they can't randomly use it. Or else people will come and people will randomly create objects for your class here and there, and they will utilize your methods. Frameworks are something, or maybe when you are doing in the automation, it goes in a linear way, right? It has to process in a way that nothing disturbs it and it goes in a flow. In between again another object comes, it doesn't work. So to restrict that type of thing, people actually make it happen that we make the constructor private. If the constructor is private, constructor is not accessible anymore to another classes, right? If
Yeah,
it's not
yeah, got it.
accessible, no object creation is possible. Gone. End of the
Hmm.
story.
Yeah.
Sir, if I declare a class is a private also, you cannot create an object also, sir.
Class as in private means that class itself, you are closing it. Okay, like it's a closed book, it's never gonna open, it's a locked key. Constructor private means your class will still work. Okay, your class will still work, you can create object inside the class. That's the point. Let me check if I have any example.
Actually, we have gone through in an access modifier. We have studied that one, Amitabh. We can make it as an private class so that
The class
I think
maintenance.
the
No,
class
no,
will not.
what I'm saying, see,
Uh,
The class will
private
not access
class,
that other.
private class, if you make it a private class, still you can create object in your own class. Okay,
yes. In our own class we can create, Amitabh, but
and
in another class it cannot possible, no.
the class
Uh,
itself is not accessible by others anymore. What we do, that's why I'll show you. I'm trying to open one.
you are asking that, I mean, the class creation of an object to the particular class also itself, no.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm just
got it,
saying that,
Amitabh.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just show you how you do in the frameworks. Let me open.
actually making private would only would only matter to the subclass of it, Amitabh, but not any other class. So that is why we should make constructor private.
Yes, correct. So what is happening here? If you see, the class is browser factory, right? So basically this is the constructor. You can understand, right? Browser factory and braces. This is the constructor, no return method. So I made it private. Okay, I made it private so that no one can access browser factory. Okay, then what will happen if anyone wants to create a object of it? I create a method of it. That boss, you want to create an instance for browser factory, call this method which is static, get instance. So you have to just give browser factory dot get instance, automatically will create an object for you. Instance means new browser factory, you can see, right? And why I have made it like that? So people randomly can't create anymore. They have to call this method. And not only calling this method, I am checking if previously any object was already there, it will not create. If only there is no object, there is no house as instance, then only a new one would be created. Okay, and it will return the same object only. Getting the point? So
Yes.
that's the thing I was trying to say, that we will make the constructor private so that no one can haphazardly create object for you. Like any engineer needs the object, they are going in the line number 8, again line number 12, again line number 14, and trust me, people will do that. Okay, so you want to create a framework in a way where it's very linear. Boss, you can't create an object for me, for my class. You need to create object, call this method, get instance. And even if you call this method, I'm gonna first check if you have any previous instance on. If the object is still on the previous one, then I'll not create anything. There is no else. If only the object is destroyed, the previous one is not there, not in existence, then only a new one would be created. That's how we control object creation in any randomized, or else people will just go ahead and create anywhere, anytime. So this is very important. Okay, I don't want to confuse anymore. Just a second, I'm getting a call. Hello. Got it?
Yes, Amitabh.
Yeah, Amita. Got it.
So as I said, right? So anytime this was one of the questions which may like people ask in a little bit of experience, 1 or 2 years experience. So that's what I'm saying. Anytime anyone is pointing out to that, okay, boss, why you can create object, why you don't want to let others create object, always go ahead with the constructor. Okay. If you are not getting your answer in constructor, then come back to the class name, the first entity, class name for whom you are creating object. That's the second most important part there. Other things are just will work. Okay. So anytime you are not getting object creation, you are not getting proper access, if something is not happening, go ahead with the constructor out first. Check the constructor out first. Okay. You will get your answer for sure. Okay. Now few more questions of previous topic. So abstraction we have completed. Okay. Just practice it as much as possible. That's the abstraction was all about. Tomorrow we'll go ahead with encapsulation, and also we'll go ahead with a little bit of revision. Okay. And once this oops ends, I want everyone, like, we'll do some exercise, practice exercise. It might take 1 or 2 days, but I'll like explain it tomorrow. Okay, what type of exercise or how you're gonna do a discussion. It would be a group discussion type thing on the oops concepts and the previous concepts which we had. Okay,
Okay, Amitabh.
it
Okay,
might take
Amita.
1 or 2 days, but this is important. Now I have few
Okay.
questions. Like, I have a static method. Okay, so inside a static method, like, you can consider main only, public static void main. So inside the static method, can we have static variables?
Actually, we must have only
Class
static
level
method.
only we can do static.
Class level.
No, what I'm saying that I have a static method. Inside of static method, can we create a static variable?
No.
Uh,
No.
Actually, Amitabh, what are the variables that are declared in the static method? It can take it as an static only, Amitabh.
Okay. No, still my question is that I have a static method. Still, I want to put like public static integer x equals to 4. Public static int x equals to 4. Is it possible?
I mean, no
Yes,
need to
yes,
declare
yes,
the
yes.
maybe
Method
Amitabh.
must be there. In another method we
Actually,
can
I mean,
Hello.
we are
can
saying that
create in that.
we cannot. I mean, no need to use that static public void like that int. Just we can. Declare it as an int, Amitabh.
That variables also like
What are the variables that
Main
are
method
declared
must
in
be
the
there.
static method? It can be a static. No need to mention again that public static like that.
Amitabh, are you asking, can we declare variables to the static methods?
Amitabh, you're
I
on
think
mute.
Okay, cool. So you guys are trying to say that if I initialize any variable inside the static method, that means it's getting by default static entity.
yes, yes, sir.
So you don't need to declare it again.
Yeah, Amitabh.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
Amitabh.
you guys just said few minutes back that static needs to be always declared in the class level, right?
Yes.
We cannot declare variables.
So
Static
if
means we have
static
to
needs to be
declare
declared
that.
in the class level, then how can a local variable be static? Any variable declared in any method is local, right?
That's what we cannot declare the variables.
Yes.
We
So
cannot declare the
remember, any
variable.
local variable cannot be static. That's the point. Okay. It's
Yes.
not because the parent is static, that's why it's getting the static entity. It's more of because the variable you are declaring any method is local, and static belongs to always class level. Okay, because class loader comes and takes the static things and loads it first. So any local variable cannot be static. That's why inside any method you cannot declare any static variable. Clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's not only about static method, it's about any non-static method also.
Yes.
Now, if you want to declare any static method, it can be done in the class level. Okay. It is possible. And I want you guys to practice that also. Okay.
Okay.
That's why I said, like, anytime you do the variable and do the discussion of instance, local, global, it will not be never finished. So we'll go up and down again and again, like that it will happen. So I want you guys to practice the static variable where we can put how it's possible, why it's not possible, go through few documents. I know tomorrow morning it will not be okay, but even tomorrow afternoon, there is a time, okay? The day after tomorrow, we'll discuss on this. And also just go through the abstraction for today. That would be enough, okay?
Okay, Amitabh.
That's it. So go through the abstraction. We'll discuss about the doubts tomorrow, and we'll start with encapsulation. Encapsulation is a very small thing for us. Like it's a huge thing as a pillar of hoops, you can understand. But in real life, we don't use it really that much. Like I have used maybe very rare to rare scenarios, so it will not be that much impactful. But we have to know what is encapsulation.